is up, TubeU? It is your boy Clemen7s here, bringing you gameplay commentary, some Bioshock gameplay. I blurred out, the subtitles and anything that's gonna really give away the storyline in case you guys want to play it. So that's what's blurred out, in the bottom, and the names of, the chapters I'm on. I'm actually blurring them out just so it doesn't ruin the gameplay for you. Because I play with subtitles on. So yeah. And today I'm gonna be talking about Socom 2. The reason I'm talking about Socom 2 is mainly because, I think they should remake Socom 2, HD version. And normally I don't like remakes. I don't like when they remake a game because it's like we've played it 100%, but certain games need to be remade, and it's gonna, help the gaming community basically become amazing. Like, when I say remade, I don't mean, remade and then add all kinds of new things to it. I mean remake identical, basically. Just, make it better condition. I mean, like I said, I don't normally agree with, remakes because I don't think, going to the past is always the answer. I think, obviously make an original game, not something that's been done, like, the Call of Duty series. But Socom 2, I really think if they remake that game's gonna, go big, especially for Sony, just because, most people, a lot of people have played Socom 2. I can't say most people, but a lot of people have played Socom 2, and a lot of people share the same opinion about Socom 2 as I do, as, it's the best shooting game, well, for me, it's the best shooting game, in my opinion, for the PlayStation, because, obviously my Halo 2 career, was my favorite, but otherwise, I should say military game, best military-based game, and that goes against, COD, and all that stuff, like Battlefield and that, but, I would say it's one of the best, military games, or even shooting games out there. It wasn't a first person, it was a third person, but it was just amazing, and I know a lot of people were hyped up for Socom 4 because of it. It's the same Zipper, I think they closed down now, but Zipper was creating Socom 4 or whatever, and that game was a big failure. Nothing compared to what Socom 2 was. Socom 2, it took strategy. You had to know how to play that game in order to actually do good. You couldn't just run and gun like you can in COD or anything like that. I mean, camping, yes, people camped, but if you were good and you knew how to play it, you could take out those campers easily, because there's only a certain amount of spots that you could camp, and when people were camping there, it's like you knew how to get them out of that spot easily all the time, and then it really took skill to play that game, because it's you had to know the nade spots, you had to know where all the PM mines are commonly placed, where enemies commonly place PM mines, because they didn't have those red arrows like they do in Claymores on Socom and stuff. Well, not Socom, on Call of Duty and stuff. They didn't have those red arrows indicating where a PM mine is laid down or anything. So when that PM mine went off, when you stepped on that, there was no going back or escaping it. You couldn't prone to avoid it. It was, you step on that PM mine, you're done. That's there was no going back. So it's you had to know the common spots. You had to, you basically had to be good at that game in order to actually be good at that game. It wasn't an easy based game. And the ranking system was really good before, obviously, all the Code 9 and and all that stuff started going down. Code 9, if you played Socom, it's what Code 9 is. It's basically just a bunch of hackers, and all that, the Cuff Clan and stuff like that. They really ruined that game basically. But in order to be good at that game, you really had to understand it. And the ranking system, like I said, was really good. There was only 5 different ranks, and only 10 people, I think, could be an admiral. And then there's captain, commander, lieutenant, then ensign. Those are all the ranks. I don't know how many ranks that was. I didn't really count, but those are all the ranks. I think I only got to commander. I touched captain, I think, one day, and then the next day, because if people play more, they obviously are going to outpass you, and then your rank's going to go down. So I was you have to constantly play that game in order for your rank to stay on the leaderboards, in order for you to stay at a certain level. So it's I stayed at a commander, or the cookie as they called it. That's what I normally was. I know Bones was really high up in the captain for a while, and then he started getting low in the captains once Code 9 started going on crazy amount of times. But it was really good because like there wasn't that many attachments. You could create your class, mid game, like fully create it, just like you can in Battlefield. I believe you can do that in Battlefield, and it was just awesome because it's like you didn't have to wait to unlock everything. Everything was unlocked for you, and like the only thing that I would be worried about is the community for that game will not be the same. And when I say that, I mean, you know, uh, like the community back then for SOCOM, the one thing that I absolutely loved is like, okay, the powerful weapons, like the overpowered shotguns, the grenade launchers, stuff like that, like the iDub, and I don't know, M14 I think was one. Those overpowered weapons, the community had the respect not to use them. Like they respected the fact that it's like we don't want to use these. I mean, obviously we'll have those one people's like, oh, I'm gonna use this, but then if they used it, the team, that guy is on will vote him out of the game. Like they have respect not to use certain guns, and like I wish that the community was like that nowadays, because I think every game would be a lot better if the community just had respect for overpowered weapons and stuff. I mean, obviously they couldn't update them back then, that's why they were overpowered. But that's the only thing I'm worried about the community, in that. I mean, like I said, it did take skill to play that game, so maybe the community will thin out a little, so it's not going to have all those little kids that just like to go for the power weapons just because they're not that good at the game, and stuff like that. So maybe the community will thin out, but I really think they should make a remake of SOCOM 2 HD version or something, just because I really think that would be a big game, especially for Sony. Like I said, maybe PlayStation 4 SOCOM 2 HD remake. I really think it's going to be really good if they make it. And like when I say remake, like I said, I mean an identical thing. I don't want new guns. I don't want anything new. I want identical storyline and everything. I mean, I never played the campaign. I know Bones did, just to unlock like certain characters in the multiplayer. But otherwise, I didn't really play the storyline. But if they remade that, I honestly would get a PS4, like, and probably play the crap out of that game. That would be my new game, just because SOCOM 2 was so amazing, and I know Bones is gonna 100% agree with this. But I don't know, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about the SOCOM 2 remake, if they ever make one, and if you want one, and stuff like that. So yeah, rate, comment, subscribe. Deuces.